Section 1. A Tale of Two Faces, the Violent and the Vital. What element explodes on contact with water, yet your heart would stop beating without it? This is not a riddle from a distant world. The element is potassium. In its pure form, potassium is a soft silvery metal. It gleams with a quiet shine, but do not let its calm appearance fool you. It is one of the most reactive metals in the known universe. When a small piece of this metal touches even a single drop of water, it reacts with astonishing violence. It can burst into a lilac-colored flame, hissing and spitting bright sparks. This dramatic reaction looks like a miniature explosion, a tiny star being born and dying in a flash. But this fiery personality hides a profound and quiet truth. Section 2. Unveiling the Element, a history of fire and ash. For centuries, humanity used potassium without ever knowing it existed as a pure metal. The story begins not in a laboratory, but in the soil. Ashes of ancient fires. Farmers, artisans knew of a substance they called potash. This was a mix of water-soluble salts derived from the ashes of burnt wood and plants. The name comes from pot ash, leaching ashes in a pot to extract useful compounds. This potash was a valuable commodity, used to make soap, used to manufacture glass, used as a fertilizer to enrich the soil and ensure a bountiful harvest. People knew it made things grow, but they had no idea what powerful element was locked inside. The mystery of potash began to unravel in the early 19th century. Humphrey Davy pioneering a new technique called electrolysis. He wondered if electricity could split stubborn compounds. In 1807, in his London laboratory, he took molten potash and passed a strong electric current through it. What he saw was extraordinary. Tiny, shimmering globules of a silvery metal appeared at one electrode. The globules burst into flame the moment they hit air or water. Section 3. The Atomic Secret. Why a metal explodes. So, why does this seemingly solid metal react with such explosive force when it touches water? The answer is not in the metal itself, but deep inside its atoms. The secret lies in its atomic structure. Potassium is an alkali metal. In the first column of the periodic table, a potassium atom has a single electron in its outermost shell. That lone electron is far from the nucleus and not held tightly. The atom is eager to give this electron away to become more stable. When potassium metal meets water, H2O, that eagerness is unleashed. The potassium atom donates its outer electron to a water molecule. This electron transfer is a chemical reaction, and it happens with incredible speed and energy. The potassium atom loses an electron and becomes a K+ ion. That ion is stable and dissolves in water. The freed electron causes chaos. It splits the water molecule apart, forming a hydroxide ion, OH, I, and a highly reactive hydrogen atom. Hydrogen atoms pair up to form hydrogen gas, H2. The reaction releases a tremendous amount of heat. The intense heat ignites the hydrogen gas. Section 4. Nature's hidden treasure, where potassium resides. Given its explosive relationship with water, you will never stumble upon a shiny nugget of pure potassium metal while hiking in the woods or walking along a riverbank. Nature is far too wet for that. Pure potassium simply cannot exist freely on the Earth's surface. It reacts far too quickly with the moisture in the air and the water in the environment. Instead, nature keeps its potassium locked away safely in stable compounds. It is found bound together with other elements, forming salts minerals that are chemically calm and non-reactive. This is how potassium has been stored for billions of years, hidden in plain sight. These potassium-containing minerals are found all over the world. They exist in vast underground deposits, remnants of ancient seas that evaporated long ago, leaving behind thick layers of salt. One of the most common potassium minerals is sylvite, also known as potassium chloride. Miners extract these salts from deep within the earth. The same element responsible for a chaotic chemical burst is also responsible for the steady, ordered beat of life itself. Imagine this scene across two different scales. First, slow motion close-up. A tiny, gleaming piece of potassium falls toward a pool of water. The moment it makes contact, a flash of brilliant light erupts. A cloud of gas bubbles furiously. A lavender flame leaps from the surface. The metal skitters and dances across the water, consumed by its reaction. Now shift perspective. We zoom into the microscopic world of a human cell. We see a heart muscle cell contracting and relaxing in a rhythmic pulse. We see a nerve fiber sending a signal like a tiny flicker of lightning. Inside the intricate ecosystem of the human body, potassium is not a metal, but an electrolyte. This means that when it dissolves in the water inside our cells, it becomes a positively charged ion, K+. In this form, potassium acts as one of the body's chief electricians. It plays a central and irreplaceable role in generating the tiny electrical signals that allow our bodies to function. Every nerve impulse, every muscle contraction, every heartbeat depends on the precise movement of potassium ions. Our bodies maintain a careful balance, keeping much more potassium inside our cells than outside of them. This difference creates an electrical gradient, like a tiny battery in every cell. One of potassium's most critical jobs is regulating the heart. The muscle cells of the heart rely on a steady, rhythmic flow of potassium and other ions across their membranes to contract and relax in a coordinated way. This electrical activity produces the heartbeat. Potassium helps control the timing and force of these contractions, ensuring that the heart beats regularly and efficiently, pumping blood throughout the body. Even small changes in blood potassium concentration can have a significant effect on the heart's rhythm, which is why the body works so hard to keep its levels within a very narrow, healthy range. Beyond the heart, potassium is essential for the entire nervous system. These signals, known as action potentials, because potassium is so vital, heart, nerves, muscles, the body must maintain its levels with extreme precision. When the amount of potassium in the blood drops too low, it leads to a condition known as hypokalemia. The initial signs are often subtle. A person might feel unusually weak, fatigued, they may experience muscle cramps, aches, twitches. As the condition worsens, the symptoms can become more severe. The weakness can progress to the point where it affects the entire body, and in some cases, it can even lead to paralysis. These symptoms occur because the lack of potassium impairs the ability of nerve and muscle cells to fire properly. One of the most dangerous consequences of hypokalemia involves the heart. As potassium levels fall, the electrical stability of the heart muscle is compromised. This can lead to an irregular heartbeat, known as an arrhythmia. The importance of potassium extends far beyond the human body. It is a cornerstone of modern civilization, playing a massive and often unseen role in feeding the world's population. The primary use of potassium on a global scale is in the manufacturing of fertilizers. As plants grow, they draw large amounts of potassium from the soil. Over time, with repeated harvests, the soil becomes depleted of this vital nutrient. To sustain crop yields year after year, farmers must replenish the potassium that has been removed. And they do this by applying potassium-rich fertilizers, which are produced from the mineral salts mined from deep underground deposits. These fertilizers, often referred to as potash, are essential for global food security. They ensure that crops like wheat, corn, rice, soybeans have the nutrients they need to grow strong and healthy. Potassium strengthens plant stalks, helps them resist disease, improves water retention, and increases the size and quality of the final harvest. In a very real sense, the potassium mined from ancient seabeds is what allows us to support a global population of billions of people. It is a direct link between deep geology and the food on our tables. To truly appreciate potassium's role in life, we must travel to the edge of a single cell. Close up, the cell membrane, wide trillions of cells in the body. The membrane is a thin wall separating inside from outside. Embedded in that membrane are millions of microscopic machines. One of the most important is the sodium-potassium pump. This tiny biological engine runs constantly in almost every cell. Its job is to maintain the critical balance of ions. Sodium ions, potassium ions. It consumes about a third of the body's energy at rest. The pump is like a tireless gatekeeper. The pump is like a revolving door. It actively pushes sodium ions out. It simultaneously pulls potassium ions in. For every 3 sodium ions expelled, it brings in 2 potassium ions. This requires energy supplied as ATP. Running this exchange creates a steep concentration gradient. Potassium becomes much higher inside the cell. Sodium becomes much higher outside the cell. Separating charged ions establishes electrical voltage across the membrane, a tiny charged battery. Potassium explodes in water and powers every heartbeat. So how did one element become both one of chemistry's greatest dangers and biology's greatest necessities? It is also a fundamental component of many common rocks, like granite, feldspar. Over immense geological timescales, the weathering of these rocks slowly releases potassium into the soil, making it available for living things. From the soil, potassium begins its journey into the biological world. Plants are masters at absorbing potassium through their roots. They draw it up from the soil and use it for a huge range of essential functions. Potassium helps plants manage their water content, regulate the opening and closing of their pores, stomata, and activate enzymes crucial for photosynthesis and sugar production. Without enough potassium, plants become weak, their leaves may turn yellow, their stems become flimsy, and their fruits and seeds may fail to develop properly. This makes potassium one of the three most important nutrients for plant life, alongside nitrogen, phosphorus. Ultimately, all the potassium in our food comes from these geological and biological sources. When we eat plants like fruits, vegetables, grains, we are consuming the potassium they have drawn from the soil. When animals eat those plants, the potassium is passed up the food chain. It is a slow, silent cycle that connects the deep geological past of our planet with the immediate biological present of our own bodies. Potassium is a hidden treasure, not found as a gleaming metal, but woven into the very fabric of the land and life itself. For individuals with pre-existing heart conditions, even a mild drop in potassium can be risky. In severe cases of hypokalemia, the heart's electrical system can fail completely, leading to cardiac arrest. This is why doctors monitor potassium levels so closely in hospitalized patients, especially those who are ill or receiving certain medications like diuretics, which can cause potassium loss through urine. Fortunately, mild cases of low potassium can often be corrected simply through diet. Nature has provided us with many excellent food sources of this essential mineral. Bananas, potatoes, particularly with the skin on spinach, kale, avocados, tomatoes, beans, lentils. For most healthy people, eating a balanced diet filled with these whole foods is enough to keep potassium levels in a healthy range. In more serious cases, a doctor may prescribe potassium supplements in pill or liquid form. It is also important to know that having too much potassium, a condition called hyperkalemia, can be just as dangerous as having too little. Beyond the farm, potassium compounds are also workhorses in the industrial world. Potassium hydroxide, for example, is a strong base used in the manufacturing of a wide range of products: soft soaps, liquid soaps. It is also used to produce certain types of glass, especially the specialty glass used for television screens, computer monitors, as it makes the glass more durable and optically clear. Potassium nitrate is a key ingredient in matches fireworks, harnessing the element's reactive properties in a controlled way. Other potassium compounds are used in everything from food processing, medicine, dyes, chemical manufacturing. The mining, processing, and distribution of potassium is a major global industry. It creates jobs, supports economies, and forms a critical part of the supply chain for both agriculture and manufacturing. That imbalance is the whole point. The inside becomes negatively charged relative to outside. The stored potential is the resting membrane potential. It's the power source for nerve cells. It's the power source for muscle cells. When a nerve fires or a muscle contracts, special channels open. Ions rush back across the membrane down their gradients. This sudden flow of charge is the electrical signal. Without the pump, this cellular battery would run down. Electrical gradients disappear and the nervous system falls silent. Muscles can't move. The heart would cease to beat. This process is elegant and efficient on an invisible scale. Its consequences are life and consciousness. The same element that explodes in a lilac flame is managed by cells to create the electrical hum of life. From a star to a cell, the same elements and laws create cosmic fire and the quiet miracle of a heartbeat. How can the same atom be both explosive chaos and intricate, life-sustaining order? Look past the flash and the fire to the quiet, essential work in every cell, every second of every day. Understanding potassium means understanding this dual nature. The context is everything. The lilac or pale violet flame is potassium's signature. Electron loss, water splitting, hydrogen gas formation, ignition from intense heat all unfold in a fraction of a second. It's chemistry in action. Atomic structure dictates behavior. The same property that makes potassium vital for nerve signals also makes it burst into flames with water.